These are the three questions. Ubbe Katavada, Issara Nimmana Vada, Ahetuka Vada. Vada means belief or concept that people maintain. So religion, any religion, is based on one of these three. Ubbe Kata. Ubba means previous, last birth. Ubbe. Kata means done. That means previous karma. Ubbe Katavada. The belief that people maintain, we exist here in this world because of our previous karma. We experience happy or unhappy, or pleasant or unpleasant, fortunate or unfortunate life because of our previous karma. That means for everything they refer, if not they depend on their previous karma. This is one concept or belief that people had during the Buddha's time, even today also. And the next one is Issara Nimmana Vada. Issara or Ishvara means God. Ishvara. Now you know the meaning of this word, Avalokitesvara, the well-known Bodhisattva in Mahayana schools of Buddhism, originated in India. Avalokita Isvara. Avalokita means one who look around. That means the whole universe. One who can see, or one who look or keep an eye on. Avalokita. Isvara, God. The God who look after everything. Avalokita Isvara. This is a Hindu God. Later, when Mahayana schools of Buddhism started to develop in India, they have accommodated this Hindu God into Buddhism and introduced as a Bodhisattva, very powerful Bodhisattva. Again, when this belief or this figure was introduced to China, they have completely changed the Indian origin and the names and converted into a female figure and introduced as Goddess of Mercy. But origin is Avalokitesvara. So the meaning of Isvara is God. So Isvara Nimmana. Nimmana means creation. Nirmana or Nimmana. That means the belief that people maintain that everything that exists in this whole universe, whether animate or inanimate, so created by a God. Isvara Nimmana Vada. Everything is created by a God. The other one is Ahetuka Vada. Ahetu. Hetu means cause. Ahetu means no cause. That means things come into existence without any particular cause. Coincident. Not planned or created or arranged or organized by anybody or any sources. scientists maintain this belief. To them, there is no God and no previous karma. They analyze only elements or matters or energies. So the combinations of these things take different shape. And they also analyze different shapes of existence, life or otherwise, known and unknown energies or magnetic powers, gravity. These are the known energies. There are so many unknown things. So they are responsible for our existence. Since people cannot understand the real nature of these sources or energies, they have transformed all these energies into one figure. That means God. People have created God, concept of God, since they cannot understand how things appear in this world. This is scientific interpretation. This is very interesting, but you have to think. After that, you have to read, you have to discuss, because there will be so many questions, counter questions, naturally arise in your mind. So what we want to know? Now what is the Buddhist attitude? Or what the Buddha said? Or what is his opinion regarding these three beliefs or concepts? Whether he accepted any of these three. I repeat, Pubbekatavada, everything, especially life, exists and experience pleasant and unpleasant feeling because of their previous karma. Issara Nimmanavada, everything is created by a God. Ahetukavada, there is no God, there is no karma, but existing elements and energies and known and unknown forces are responsible for this existence. So in simple language, I can say the Buddha has rejected these three concepts. You cannot find anywhere in the Buddha's teaching that he has acknowledged or accepted that everything that exists in this world, every living being or living thing, experience pleasant and unpleasant feeling due to their previous karma. The Buddha did not accept this. Again, there were many discourses given by the Buddha where he rejected the belief that people maintain everything is created by a God. He did not accept this. And those who believe that life or the other living things exist in this world due to certain energies and elements and appearance take place by taking different shape. Buddha did not accept this belief also. This is materialistic idea. That is why I told you this is very interesting. Now we have to find out if the Buddha is not ready to accept all these three beliefs that existed for thousands of years, even before the Buddha's coming to this world. And today also, the followers of many religions in this world maintain, very strongly believe these two, previous karma and creations of God, or created by God. The other one, mostly ahetuka, without any cause or without any karma or without any God. Things appear and disappear. Rationalists, free thinkers, scientists, psychologists, and so many others, and those who cannot think also believe like that. And those who don't want to think also believe like this. Easy. Nothing to bother about God, nothing to worry about the previous life, and let it be anything, why worry? That is the easiest way. Many people believe this. So, our problem is, we cannot keep quiet. We want to know something. Now let us analyze the first item. Buddhism also discuss, explain and believe karma is responsible for our existence and for our life. But not like certain other religions. To them, karma is the only cause. Karma is solely responsible for our existence, changes. The Buddha rejected this. This interpretation or sayings you can find in Anguttara Nikaya, Sutra Pitaka, where the Buddha said, don't believe. All your pleasant and unpleasant experiences are due to your previous karma, good and bad karma. Only certain things. Your karma is responsible only for certain things. In the Paritta chanting book, there is one sutra which is called Girimananda Sutra. Where the Buddha has mentioned causes for our sufferings and sicknesses. After giving so many reasons and many causes for our sufferings and sicknesses, and he included there Kamma Vipakaja Abadha. Abadha means sicknesses. We suffer from certain sicknesses due to our own karma, but not all. Then he says, climate, heat, wind, rain can create sicknesses. Food can create sicknesses. Environment create sicknesses. Our behavior can create sicknesses. So our previous karmas have nothing to do with this. Again, our laziness, our ignorance, our misunderstanding can create lot of problems. Nothing to do with previous karma. And now you can understand why the Buddha did not agree that all our experiences are due to our previous karma. Again, when we analyze the 5 causes which are responsible for our appearance as human beings in this world. These 5 are known as Pancha Niyama Dhamma. Pancha means 5. Niyama Dhamma, Hetu, causes. There are 5 causes for our existence. If one of them is missing, it is impossible for life to exist. What are those 5? Chitta Niyama, Kamma Niyama, Uttu Niyama, Bija Niyama, Dhamma Niyama. These are the 5. Please try to remember, these are very important items. If you want to justify, if you want to enlighten others who maintain wrong concept, belief about this religion, if you can remember these few items, then you also gain some sort of confidence and you can contribute something to enlighten others also. So what are these 5? There must be a mind, mental energy. If there is no mental energy, all the other factors cannot create or produce a life. First factor is mental energy. That means the connection with the previous birth. Second one, in that mental energy, there must be karmic energy. If there are no more karmas in that mental energy, it is impossible for that mental energy to contribute anything to condition or create another life. Arahantas or Pacceka Buddhas and Buddhas, when you analyze their minds, you cannot find these karmas. Neither good karmas, no bad karmas. So their minds are free. Therefore, there won't be another rebirth or existence for them because they don't like it. They have empty or wipe out all these karmas to avoid, to get rid of this cycle of birth and death. So that still we maintain good karmas and bad karmas in our mind. Then existence also again and again take place when these two energies work together, mental energy and karmic energy. These two energies also cannot create a life. There are 3 more. So the next one is Bija Niyama, germinal order, germ, seed. This is called cosmic energy. Now here you can understand how mental energy and karmic energy combine with the existing cosmic energies. So it is not God, it is an energy. So there must be some sort of seed or germ. So combinations of these 3 support to condition a life, but they need some more to nurture this. Uttu Niyama, that is also a cosmic energy. Uttu means season, period or time. Heat or rain, wind, a season. Plant life indicates how this seasonal order contributes or influence for them to produce flowers and fruits. There's a season, fruits and flowers. For our life also, there must be a period for the conception in the mother's womb. That is called season. Only during that period, conception can take place in the mother's womb. That is the fourth factor. Last one is very complicated. Dhamma Niyam. Here, the meaning of this word Dhamma, we had to interpret in different ways, not as the teachings of the Buddha. Dhamma means nature or natural phenomenon. Although we use this word nature or natural phenomenon, we do not know what it is. No one can analyze. We say it is nature or it is natural. But we do not know what are the forces behind this. This is the juncture that people who introduced religious belief and concept transforms all these things into a figure as God. That is why they say God is invisible. God has no formation. God has no color. This is how they interpret. Of course, when we talk about God, we say He. That is our own creation. The Buddha analyzed this Dhammata, natural occurrences. This word I think easy for you to understand. Example, when you plant a seed, a small shoot come out, and this plant or creeper, you can see, started to develop, growing. And what is the force behind? Then you can see when this plant become a big tree, like Bodhi tree, how the roots, huge roots, go here and there in searching food, water, fertilizer, and very strong concrete slabs also will turn into pieces when that force, when that root goes under this concrete. And imagine what sort of energy is there. Who created this energy? This is called Dhammata. We say this is nature. In reality, please remember this, in reality, there is no such thing in this world as nature. Nature does not exist, but nature is created by so many other factors and energies. When all these things join together, when certain indications appear, at that time we say nature created this. Let us take beautiful flowers or the colors. Then we say nature created this. Others say God created this. Concept is the same, no difference, whether God created or nature created. But these are the words created by us to express our understanding, what we understood. But we do not know what is behind. What are the real causes or forces or sources? Then we stop our investigation using only one word, act of God. Finish, no more investigation. When we cannot go further, we say, oh, this is work of God, act of God, will of God, finish. We satisfy with that. Whether it is true or not, we satisfy with that. But many others interpret this as nature. Just now I told you, nature does not exist. But we use the word, the nature, when so many other energies and factors and sources combine together and created some changes or the formations and beauty or ugliness. When we say nature created this. The Buddha used the word dhammata. Then he says, not only other living beings, even the Buddha's physical body is also subject to this dhammata, this natural phenomena. The Buddha also not exempted. How? Just like ordinary human being, his physical body also started to decay, grow old. That is called dhammata. That is called nature. And who is behind this? Nobody. We say it is natural, it is nature. But there are so many factors to create this nature. A small baby is being born. Then after a few months you can see how this child starts to grow. That is dhammata, it is nature. Then go on developing and developing and growing and growing. Then again start the other way around. Down and down and down. That is called decaying, decaying, decaying. Who created this? God? No. Nature? Yes, we say, we use this word nature, but there are so many other factors. This is the nature of existence. So, when we analyze in various ways, we can understand very well, karma is not the only cause. Here I have mentioned 5. Mental energy, karmic energy, then germinal order, season, and nature or natural phenomena or dhammata. These 5 factors are responsible to condition, to produce a life. So karma is one of the factors. That is why the Buddha rejected this belief karma is responsible for the life. Solely responsible. No. Again, those who believe that after committing certain karmas, that they cannot avoid or overcome or stop, assume it is a bad karma. Somehow or the other we must pay. Others believe this. The Buddha says no. If you are wise, if you know what to do, you can overcome. If that particular karma is not a very heavy or weighty karma. But others do not believe this. So he has shown us the method how to overcome even our own karma by using our intelligence, by using our effort and acting wisely and maintaining healthy mind, purity in our mind. After committing certain karmas, by realizing the danger of this, then we decide to change our attitude, our way of life. Then we try to culture our mind by reducing our jealousy, hatred, anger, selfishness, craving, then some sort of purity remains in the mind. Plus, do some meritorious deeds, doing some service to others to relieve their suffering. Then the happiness that we gain through our services influence the mind to maintain cheerfulness, happiness, confidence, hopes. Then we get the chance to overcome the bad effect of certain bad karmas that we have committed. But not by worshipping, praying, offering and crying and burning and cutting. Never. Buddhism never accepts this belief. There are some who embrace another religion when they are going to die, thinking that they can get rid of all their dirty, crooked, wicked things they have committed just because they believe in God. Then very easy, everybody, we can do anything whatever we like. Before we die, we say, oh, we believe in God, please take away all my sin. And during that time we have disturbed thousands and thousands of innocent people, and no God to support them. They are still suffering. And I am the culprit who have committed all those things, the God come to save me, but not those victims who are suffering because of me. What sort of justification is there? So, now you realize, as Buddhists, we don't believe our own karma is responsible for everything. Again, as Buddhists, we do not even surrender ourselves to our own karma. By using our intelligence and effort, we will be able to overcome the bad effect, but not by praying or worshipping. Second one, ahetukavada. Ahetuka means no cause. Nobody behind, either karma or God. And those who do not believe God or karma think that there is something unknown energies or consciousness They introduced this as universal consciousness. Many intellectuals believe this because they cannot satisfy with God, and they develop this concept, universal consciousness. Things appear in this world or in this universe as living beings or plants or articles. These are the units derived from the universal consciousness, exist for a certain period, after decaying and decaying and decaying, the visible objects disappear. But the unit of the consciousness that existed in this life absorbs into the universal consciousness. They introduce this as final goal. So to them there is no religions, no God, no karma. And this ahetuka, or the belief that they maintain, this is the only life, and there won't be another existence. There are no forces behind us, only elements and energies. So the combinations of elements, combinations of energies condition this existence, then the mind becomes the byproduct of the combinations of matters and energies. Like engine and dynamo. When these two things join together, engine and dynamo, electricity appear because of the friction. They say the combinations of matters and energies created the human mind. This belief was very strong at the beginning. Later, scientists also realized that it is not true. So they have given up this idea. So mind is not the byproduct of the elements and energies. Mind is a separate unit. Mental energy is separate energy. The others come and combine with this. Then the life will appear. So the Buddha did not agree with this belief. This life come into existence just because of the combinations of elements and energies, because they also analyze into four: material or the elemental side and the four mental side. Four mental energies, four elements. Besides these four, there are so many other known and unknown energies. No names for them, not yet discovered. Example, electricity, atomic energies. Today we talk about them. We can make use of them. Nobody created this. And they existed in this universe forever. Electricity and atomic energy. Again they analyze atomic energy, electron, neutron, protons, and so many other energies. They exist forever. When they discover these existing energies, they give names. So these energies were not created by anybody. And these separate energies also appear, exist, due to so many other sources and energies behind it. This had been proven by Albert Einstein in his relativity. But earlier, Buddha has given very clear explanations of relativity. Paticca samuppada, hetu, pratitya, the cause, the link, uppada, appearance. What are the causes or the links that contribute for something to appear? Imasmin sati, idang hoti. Remember the simple sayings of the Buddha. Imasmin sati, idang hoti. When this exists, that arises. What to do? Human beings cannot understand this kind of meaningful saying. That means there is nothing here in this universe that which can exist individually. There must be another cause. And that cause contributes something for that one to appear. Then this one contributes something, another one to appear. Then in the process of this becoming and becoming and becoming, different shape, different color take place. Then again go one big round, come back to the same. Then where is the origin? Where is the beginning? This is called relativity. So, hetung paticca sambhutang hetu bhanga nirujjati. These are simple, meaningful sayings of the Buddha. Can answer to thousands of questions. One answer, one interpretation can answer thousands of questions. Hetung paticca sambhutang hetu bhanga nirujjati. When there are some causes, sambhutang, things appear. Hetu bhanga, when those hetus or causes are no more, nirujjati, disappear. Now let us take this. Here we have so many causes, hetu. Because of these so many causes, this exists, this appears. But these causes are functioning, going on working and working and working, then going on reducing and reducing, decaying. When those hetus and causes are faded away, and this one also disappears. No more. That is what the Buddha says. Hetung paticca sambhutam. When there are causes, things can be seen or appear. Hetu bhanga, when those causes disintegrate or dissolve, nirujjati, that figure, that appearance, that vision also disappears. See whether it makes sense or not. So, ahetu vada. There is no cause behind for all this existence is rejected by the Buddha. So, ahetu vada. There is no cause behind for all this existence is rejected by the Buddha by giving this interpretation. So we are not materialist, we are not communist, we are not agnostics. But we use our sense of reasoning, understanding, by using analytical knowledge. We use and we analyze things, then find out what it is. This is the nature of this religion. So we do not depend on any person. We do not depend on God. We do not depend on Buddha. Or we do not depend on Bodhisattvas or Deva. Because human intelligence is more powerful. The concept of God, concept of Bodhisattvas, concept of Devas also discovered by the human mind. That is why we can use analytical knowledge to understand. But many scientists who use this analytical knowledge are skeptics. One side, one aspect of their intellect is in the dark. Example, Charles Darwin, who discovered the theory of evolution, anthropology, explains how the life originated in the water, then went on evolving, developing by taking different forms and billions and billions and billions and trillions of years, nobody knows. Today, here we stand on this earth as human beings. He is right. From the Buddhist point of view, we cannot say he is wrong. But many other religionists who maintain the belief that this human figure was created by God at once like this, had heart attack because of this discovery. Very big blow to their belief and theories. But we can stand. We know what he is telling. But we can understand his discovery is half-cooked. He discovered only elemental side. Process of life process, evolutions, only elemental side. He is completely dark in the mental side. He does not know anything about the mental process. Remember this. What he has discovered, fossils here and there, to prove how changes have taken place. Yes, it is true. But behind this elemental process, mental forces are more powerful, more energetic, And changes take place because of the mental process. When you refer to the Buddha, you can see those humans or human beings who maintain animal mentality, who lead animal way of life, every minute they are going on molding their animal life. Here you can see how mental process evolved, how different shapes take place according to our way of thinking. So the mental energies are more responsible than elements. Changes take place in our elements in our body according to our mental process. That is why I told you, Charles Darwin's theory of evolution is half cooked, not completed, unfinished. So I have given reasons, more than enough reason about karma, what is the Buddhist attitude toward the karma, then the life that exists without any cause, without any reason, accidentally or as coincident, also rejected by the Buddha. Then what is the answer? The Buddha's answer is his dharma, his teaching is not based on a hetu, without any cause, not depending on one particular cause. This is another thing. To others, there is one cause. All these things come from that first cause. There is no first cause, because the cause become effect, effect become cause. Go round and round, cause and effect, then which one is the first one? Now we are coming to Buddhism. Therefore Buddhism is not a hetu or without any cause. Buddhism is not eka hetu, one particular cause or first cause. No. Then what is it? Aneka hetu. Many causes. That is Buddhism. That means Buddhism does not depend on first cause, God. Buddhism does not depend on scientific interpretations of without any cause. That is why the Buddha, it must mean sati idang hoti, when these things appear, that exists. When this one disappears, that one also disappears. That is relativity. Combination, interdependent, interrelated. One unit cannot exist separately, no existence. Then what are the causes? Then analyze. There are thousands of causes, not only one. So the karma is one of them. Mental energy is another thing. So the nature is another thing. Cosmic energy is another thing. Then how many unknown energies are there? When we look at the space, we can see only few stars. In one galaxy, how many millions of stars are there? You can see only very few. And some of those stars, although we cannot see them, can influence this earth. But we know only about sun and the moon, or few other planets like Saturn and Jupiter and few of them. There are many more. And these planets, these stars, influence the other existing planets. We do not know this. So without depending on any religion, when we use our common sense, we can understand what the Buddha said. Regard him as a scientist, not as a founder of a religion. Then we can avoid that religious prejudice. What the Buddha said, like Socrates, he is not a founder of a religion, but we appreciate his saying. So what he said, for our existence there are so many causes, not only one particular cause, either karma or God or anything else. If God exists, the God also can contribute something. If he really exists, why should we say no? No reason. If planets, stars can contribute something, then why God cannot contribute? We welcome. So there is no reason for us to say there is no God. That is against Buddhism. Because there is no place in his teaching where he mentioned that there is no God. This word he never used. Please remember, as Buddhists, you should not say there is no God. It is wrong. But the Buddha's teaching is, whether God exists or not, please don't depend on him for everything. You have to do your own work. That is practical. Then we come to the last one, Ishvara Nimmanavada. God is responsible for everything and we are the puppets here. We are dancing according to his tune. Whenever we suffer, we say, what to do, this is the act of God. When we prosper, when we are happy, we say, thanks God. It's good, you know. Why it is good? Just to console your mind. To avoid hatred, frustration, disappointment and so many mental disturbances, you can say what to do. It's the will of God. Finish, close the chapter. And the Buddhists and Hindus also used another term. That is our own karma, what to do. No harm. Without blaming, accusing others, that is our own karma. We are responsible. Very good. Whether right or wrong, just to console yourself. But not completely correct that interpretation. Just to console. So this belief that everything is created by God is not a new idea. Especially in India. And we do not know how many thousands of years ago they have discovered this belief. Do you know? At the beginning, we had only two principles as governing factors to maintain the mankind, to maintain human dignity, live as humans, to differentiate animals and humans. These two things are moral shame and moral fear. That's all. No religion at that time. Hiri ottappa sampanna sutta dhamma samahita santo sappurisa loke deva dhammoti uchyari. The Buddha introduced these two, hiri and ottappa, moral shame and moral fear, as deva dharma. The dharma that maintained by human beings learned how to maintain their human dignity. Highest. Moral shame. That means, as human beings, when we think it is disgraceful or we are insulting, abusing ourselves by committing, doing such immoral and harmful thing. That is called moral shame. Not because of fear. Moral fear does not mean the fear of punishment or fear of God. Fear means scared. I am scared to kill others. Moral fear. I am scared to see how others slaughter animals. Moral fear. I am scared to see bloodshed. Moral fear. I am scared to see how others fighting. Moral fear. It is not fear of your punishment or fear of God. Anything. These are the two things which govern the whole mankind. Later, they developed further. Humanism. It is no religion. In humanism, they cultivated more duties, responsibilities, obligations to fulfill. So it is under humanism when husband and wife look after each other with mutual understanding. It is humanism, it is not religion. When parents and children live peacefully, happily, fulfilling their own responsibilities, humanism. When we attend to our relatives and friends with understanding, we live with cooperation, harmony, it is humanism, not religion. And there are so many things. So when we live without fightings and quarreling and harboring enmity and jealousy and grudge, that is humanism. So after cultivating this humanism, later they invited the God and inject the concept of God into humanism. Religions appear from there. Before that there was no religion. So the concept of God was very essential, very important to them, because there were many things that they could not understand. So when they developed this belief and concept, they could manage to console themselves. Only for that purpose they invited the concept of God. To many people, this belief is very important. Why? If there is no belief in God, many people cannot stop their dangerous activities. When they think, oh, there is a God, if I do that, God may punish me, then he stops. To them, the belief in God is very important. On the other hand, usually people are not ready to contribute something for the benefit of others. They are selfish. When they maintain this belief there is a God who will reward us if you do something, some service to others or contribute something for the happiness of others, then they will do that because of that belief in God. In between there are some others who try to understand why it is bad for us to commit evil thing, why it is necessary for us to do some service to others without depending on God. That is the method introduced by the Buddha. When you think that it is very bad for you to do this, you should not develop selfishness in your mind. If I do that, God will punish me. Therefore, I don't want to do that. You never develop kindness, compassion, understanding towards them. When you want to do some service, you say, yes, if I give, the God will give with interest. Then I will give, otherwise I don't give. Selfishness. If you can cultivate such ideas in your mind that to relieve their suffering, I must contribute something. By doing that, you reduce your selfishness, you relieve their suffering. In return, you gain happiness. That reward is more than enough from the Buddhist point of view. So, we do not depend on God for everything. If God exists, we welcome, no objection. And we can cooperate with God also. There is no reason for us to go against, but we do not depend on Him. I think you can remember this common saying I mentioned in my latest books also. Those who believe in God, those who pray to God for their protection, they can go ahead. Very good. But don't forget to lock the door when you go out at night time. There is no guarantee that God will protect your house until you come back. So believe in God if you like. You can pray if you like, no harm at all. You are not doing any harm. But don't forget to do your duty, whether God exists or not. This is the Buddhist attitude. Yes. Akāsattha Jamummattha Deva Naga Mahidjika Punyantang Anumoditta Chirang Rakkantu Loka Sāsanang Ittavata Ca Ammehi Sampatang Punya Sampadang Sabbe Deva Anumodantu Sabba Sampatti Siddhya Devo Vasatu Kalena Satsa Sampatti Hetu Ca Prito Bhavatu Loko Ca Raja Bhavatu Dhammiko Idammo Jati Nangoto Sakita Hantu Jatiyo Imina Punya Kammena Mame Bala Samagamo Satang Samagamo Hotu Yava Nibbana Pattiya